Hey, what's happening, gamers? Welcome back to our Road to Mario Kart World. This is our 24th live stream. This one is, of course, Mario Kart Wii still, as we'll be doing the Mirror League today. Eventually. Hopefully everybody's having a good one.
Come on. Oh, yeah. Hey.
What? Oh, Amber will be down in a little while. Okay. Alrighty, so yeah, 24th episode of our Road to series as we were trying to prep for Nintendo Switch 2, which we've already said yesterday that we've secured a Switch 2, so we will be able to cover Mario Kart World for you guys, as well as some of the launch games, especially some of the launch games that are T-rated. Maybe some M. I don't know. We'll see. If I do Yakuza, I would have to do it without the, without the English language. But I'm gonna have plenty to do in June, so I don't think... I tell you this right now, I am not getting the tour game, because I don't find museums very entertaining. I think museums are very good to learn from, but I'm not buying a $10 museum game, that tour thing. I don't see a point to it. It was like some type of fun sports game or something utilizing the controller in new fantastic ways or whatever. Yeah, sure, whatever. But no, the idea of walking to exhibits and seeing, you know, little demonstrations of what the system can do does not interest me at all. I'm just kind of like, eh, no thanks. Not my thing. So we have one course left in 150 cc's, and that will, of course, unlock the Mirror Cup. Then we'll do the Mirror Cup our best with it, and then once we finish the Mirror Cup, will not be the end of the series, like this game. We'll be playing two-player, 50 and 100 cc's, and of course we'll also be battling, and then we'll move on to Mario Kart 7. So the plan is still to hit Mario Kart 7 soon. That is the plan, yeah. You can see, yep, we're doing really well. So there's another level yet, that'll be the mirror courses. Alrighty, let's do this. So we unlocked Daisy yesterday. I'm the best! That's right, Daisy's amazing. And just so you guys know, I'm waking up. I take medicine for stuff, so like it makes me very droggy. I'm very tired. So I had to take the medicine at earlier in the morning than I usually take it early in the morning, so it wears off by like before 3 in the afternoon. But Amber needed my help with some stuff really late at night yesterday, and she gave me quite a workout. So like I forgot to take my medicine until like 9 in the morning, and it has a 12-hour or so stem thing. I don't know. It lasts for a while. So even though I'm drinking tea and stuff like that, it's gonna take a while for me to wake up, so to speak. I thought eating like that Oreo cereal that's kind of meh would help me out, but nope. Thank you, Miss Deanna. Yeah, I agree, Miss Deanna. I too. I mean, if it was a fun thing that Miyamoto made or something, so you could just tell it's like it's such a corporate thing that there's no point to it. Exactamon. So I'm just kind of like, no thanks. Because, you know, if Miyamoto made a museum game, it would somehow be fun. That whoever made the tour game, it's not made by Miyamoto. No. I'm good. I'm good passing on that. I'm okay. Okay, let's do Lightning Cup. Yeah. Yeah, Amber needed my help with something, yep. It was definitely a lot of work to do. Yep. Hi, Granddaddy. Nice to see you on non-Xenoblade stuff. We're going to be wrapping up Xenoblade soon, so I hope you Xenoblade people stick around. Also, just a kind of reminder, guys, that we lost some people on our free newsletter. We had 970 people on our newsletter. We now have 730. If you want to be notified of live streams and, you know, special events and all kinds of stuff on the channel, uploads, you want to sign up for a free newsletter over on Kwingsletsplays.com. We basically pay $100 a month for that newsletter to notify our subscribers of our channel because our channel's broken. So if you could just take the time to sign up for a free newsletter, it really helps us out a lot because we can get... Thank you. We can get a hold of... We can get a hold of you directly to you. Like all the important Kwing news, live streams, video uploads, shorts directly to your email every day with fun pictures and, you know, big bold text to tell you what's going on. Like it's a thing that Amber and I both do. Kwingsletsplays.com, sign up for the free newsletter, and you'll never miss one of our streams again, because if you guys are waiting for notifications to get a hold of you, because there's only about 40 people here, that tells me that those people don't use the newsletter, and the people that are here use the newsletter. So if you're on the channel, make sure you guys use the newsletter. It's a free service that we created for you guys, but it's not free for us. Let me try that again. Glad you didn't get affected by the storm I was hit with Saturday. We were without power until Monday. And now you're sick? I'm sorry to hear that, country girl. This area of Pennsylvania that I know of, we didn't have a bad storm. But I sleep during the day, so I wouldn't know if there was a storm. I would know if there's a storm at night, because I'm up usually all night. Come on, Daisy, you got this. Come on, Daisy! Alright, so there might be some trial and error with this. Let's go. Yeah, YouTube will randomly turn off notifications if a channel doesn't work well, so sign up for our free newsletter, guys. It just takes a second, Kwingsletsplays.com, and you'll get notified of our awesome newsletter that Amber and I both write every day. It's the best tool that you can have for the channel, as a, you know, that way people don't have to ask us, what's going on, what's on the schedule. It's like, you'll have the schedule all day. Whoops. I've got time. Or not. Man, these guys are mean to poor Daisy. Holy cow. Holy cow, you guys are mean to Daisy. Daisy's gonna even up the odds now. Maybe. Ah! Yo, come on. I don't even know how this is gonna work. Well, that's not very helpful. I can't see, but I think that's the point. Oh no. Almost there. Come on, Daisy. Hold out. Come on, girl. You can do it. Huh? People want to know why I think Spyro isn't popular anymore? It just goes from marketing. It's not anything personal like saying the game is bad, it's from a marketing perspective. There hasn't been a new Spyro game in a decade. They did a re-release of the original games in a collection, which the collection was great, it didn't sell very much. You have to remember that I mean, not only am I a gamer, but I've come from a marketing background. I worked for Sears Corporate as a marketer. Not only was I on the sales floor, but also I did marketing. So I know when something isn't doing well because I have a background in sales, commission-based sales, and I have a background when it comes to marketing products, all that other stuff, coming up with stuff to market. So Spyro's remastered collection, or whatever you want to call it, which was fantastic, did not sell anywhere near what the original Spyro games did. And when it released, it didn't have enough traction for it to continue as a franchise that I know of. Just like Skylanders has never had a game outside of its mobile game division now because it can't hit on consoles anymore. They haven't taken a risk on Skylanders. We haven't even got a Skylanders remastered collection or a Skylanders 10-year anniversary game. We never got one of those because the first Skylanders game is over 10 years old. That company doesn't believe in that brand anymore. If they did, they would be, like, more with it. The only reason they brought Skylander back the only reason they brought Spyro back through Skylanders is because it was the perfect IP to attach to their new IP, which was Skylanders, the Toys to Life thing. Spyro fit perfectly based on the look of his design, and as well as, you know, it gave people incentive that like Spyro to try to do his spin-off game, Skylanders. It was all marketing. It's not that I don't... There are very few video game characters that I hate outside of monkeys. I don't like video game monkey characters. The only exception to the video game monkey thing is Diddy Kong and Donkey Kong, but I like to think of them as gorillas, so... I like to give them a pass because I love Donkey Kong Country. But the other monkey games and other monkey game characters, nah, not a fan of. Ah. I don't like Donkey Kong 64. I only like, I like, and it's not called Donkey Kong, oh wait, yes it is called Donkey Kong 64. It's not called Donkey Kong Country 64, it's Donkey Kong. I think I will like Donkey Kong Bonanza more than Donkey Kong 64, because Donkey Kong Bonanza looks fun. Donkey Kong 64 was incredibly frustrating, and it's part of the reason why we lost Rare to Microsoft. We lost Rare to Microsoft because of 2 fumbles by Rare. Donkey Kong 64 and Star Fox Adventures. If Star Fox Adventures and Donkey Kong 64 would have hit it off really big, and Jet Force Gemini, Rare had like stumble after stumble after stumble, and Yamaguchi got rid of Rare. It wasn't Iwata who said, see you later, Rare, because, you know, that was Yamaguchi. That was before Iwata became president, I believe, is when Star Fox Adventures failed. That was it for Rare and Nintendo's relationship. And then former Rare employees split from Rare and created Retro Studios, which stayed with Nintendo. And then Rare, the big part of Rare, they went to Microsoft. So You had some... It was like the only other explanation I can give you is like what happened with Way Forward Technologies and Yacht Club Games. Yacht Club Games was successful because one of the geniuses and driving forces creatively behind Way Forward Technologies left the company and created his own spin-off with a few other pretty, like, you know, talented engineer people at whatever it was called, Way Forward. Same thing happened with Retro Studios and Rare. Is you had one of the big figureheads at Rare leave to create Retro Studios, which ended up becoming the people Nintendo trusted with the Metroid brand. But Yamaguchi, it's his fault that Rare split up to begin with, because most of Rare's games that they made did not succeed on the N64. That's also part of the reason why Rare had so many Game Boy Advance games, with Donkey Kong Country like coming back or whatever. It was the perfect way. Game Boy Advance was like the first port system, if you think about it, because there were so many Super Nintendo classics remade or re-released for the Game Boy Advance, because the Game Boy Advance was essentially a Super Nintendo in the palm of your hand. It was amazing. So we had lots of new games by Nintendo for the Game Boy Advance, but also just like the Switch 2, you had a lot of ports of a previous system on there that were only just a little bit better than the original. That's it. I'm still surprised we never got a Chrono Trigger Game Boy Advance game. We got Chrono Trigger on the DS, but we never got a Chrono Trigger remake or re-release on the Game Boy Advance, which would have been a given. They waited until the Nintendo DS. The reason why is because apparently Square didn't want to re-release it on the Game Boy Advance. They wanted to do something new to the game, and that's why it ended up on the DS, so it could have the PlayStation cutscenes, which was a first for Nintendo, because Nintendo couldn't have the cutscenes originally. Oof. These guys play for keeps, man. Hey now. Hey now. No! No! Ah! Wow, 8th place. That's all it took, huh? You better give me something good to get back. Oh my gosh, my race is over. If I don't get, like, 2nd place, I'm gonna lose overall. It's that quick. You blink and you miss it. That's insane. 150 cc's in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. I'm actually surprised at myself that I'm even able to kind of do this. Oh, great. That's great. And I can't touch these guys because I'll die, right? Oh, good. Okay. There are some Mario Karts where if you shrink and you touch people, you will die. Yo! Yo! Come on! Well... no, it's over. Give me something good, you stupid game. Well, I magically got 2nd. Hopefully that's enough to win overall. I don't know. That's 42. And then, what is it, Rainbow Road, or was that the last one? 42 out of 35. Nope, it's not over yet. Oh boy. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I should play Breath of the Wild on Master Mode? I'm not that good. Why would I do that? I'm barely succeeding in whatchamacallit. I'm barely succeeding in, Batman I Am the Night mode. And I almost lost a couple times already. If it wasn't for Alpha's, like, very generous, letting me restart. Because some people don't, you know, they don't like you hitting the restart button when you do I Am the Night. So... I don't think I would do very... I never did well at the Ocarina of Time Master Quest either. I don't know. I'm comfortable playing games on normal mode, but when I crank them up to hard mode, I crack under pressure, and also it's live, so there's a lot of mistakes that happen during live streams. I'm only going through the story again with Breath of the Wild, and I don't even have a 4K TV, you have to understand that. Amber and I don't have a 4K TV, and we don't have 4K capture cards. Even if we had 4K, we couldn't stream at 4K because we don't have that type of agreement with our cable provider. We're already pushing the maximum amount of internet quality of like high-res 1080p, 60 frames per second, and using up close to 3 or 4 terabytes a month in terms of data. There's no way they'd let us go up to 4K without some type of new agreement. If I just started doing 4K, it would easily go up to probably like 7 terabytes a month, and that's going to get that company mad at us because we have a agreement, a business agreement. We'd have to renegotiate, and to be honest, I can't afford to renegotiate with them anyway because I can barely afford to pay what I pay them right now. So we will not be able to show 4K anyway. Yeah, our channel would have to be doing much better for us to do 4K. Because, I mean, we'd have to negotiate probably a $500 or $600 contract with our cable company to not get overage charges. Because, you know, you have to remember that a streamer uses a lot of memory when they live stream. It's not something that a company is okay with you doing. So if you are doing 4K, you're paying a lot of money to do that. Some streamers get around it by only doing 4K streams like once a week or something like that. Because nobody streams as much as we do. We're one of the people who stream all the time. So we already stream about 10 hours a day. Oh wait, I screwed up. Yep. No, 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 not at the finish line! No! Ah! Well, I barely made it. Good enough. Good enough. Yeah, because you guys have to understand that, like, internet providers, they don't like it when people exceed a certain amount because legally they can charge you for overage fees. So our cable company cannot charge us overage fees because we have a legal binding contract that we pay this amount and they can't give us overage fees. But also we can't exceed 1080p. That's the highest quality that we're allowed to use. If I went 4K, I'd be breaking that contract. And then I could be susceptible to overage fees, like at the end of the month, of over $1,000. There's no way that I could pay $1,000 a month for internet. Not in the area that I live. So, yeah. Even though we will be covering Switch 2, it's still going to be 1080p. Sorry, Charlie. No, it's not bad. I mean, you know, I have to pay more than most people do for internet, but I haven't received one fee in 10 years. I've always paid consistently what the contract says. I've never had to do any overage fees, like, for anything. I've even gone beyond 4 terabytes sometimes, and I've never had to pay an overage fee. So, but I'm also right within that, you know, area. 1080p, you know, no 4K resolution. Any of that. I just barely made that. If we had our own house, maybe, but if we had our own house, I'd have better internet anyway. Like, the internet here is not very good. Oh. I never understood why they did the laid-back music for this. All right, guys, we're gonna start we're gonna start Mirror Cup now. Exciting. My brain is still waking up. I'm very foggy. It's okay. It's not your fault. I did wonders with those thumbnails, those Mario thumbnails. I don't know how I'm gonna make the Mario Kart World thumbnails look good. I'll figure it out. Actually, I'll probably have Amber do it, because Amber probably has a different design in mind. I'm not gonna use... America has terrible ISPs then? Oh yeah, ISPs can charge you overage fees. You have to, when you sign up for an internet provider, you have to look at the fine print and make sure that there is no data cap. If there's a data cap and you go over it, you're going to get slammed with hundreds of dollars in fees. And depending on how much, because you have to remember, we live in the era of streaming. So people are watching, a majority of Americans do not have cable anymore. A majority of Americans use streaming services in place of cable. Almost half the country uses streaming. So cable companies needed to adapt because they were being taken advantage of people for using their bandwidth. So like 20 years ago, people would only use like, I know this is hard to imagine, but most American families would only use about 256 gigabytes a month or less with their internet provider. By like 2006, some American families were using up to 500 gigabytes because 2006 is when live streaming started. Like live streaming services. Crunchyroll, Hulu, those places. People were migrating away from like places like Blockbuster and Hollywood Video, which was still around in the early 2000s, by the way. Blockbuster didn't go the way of the dodo until at least like 2006, 2007. The Blockbuster that we used to use in town when Amber and I were first married, like, it still existed. So, when streaming became, like, America's pastime for entertainment, cable companies had to readapt because, you know, customers were using a lot of their bandwidth, which was putting a strain on them. So they had to install data caps in order to do stuff. And if people aren't careful and they see like how much data they're using, that's why their cell phone bill can be up to $1,000 or more, is because they ended up using, you know, exceeding way beyond what they're allowed a month with their stuff. And cable companies tried to be flexible. They originally gave people 1 terabyte like per household, and then they lowered it to 500 gigabytes because like people were exceeding that within like a few weeks, and they started to do overage fees. So because I was smart and I realized that, you know, a company could screw my business over, because I knew I was going to start live streaming because I saw that's where the market was going in 2015. So I put on my suit, and I went and I talked to the business side, the business internet company that we have, and we shook on an agreement. We wrote up a contract, and that was that. Because I was like, hey, my business, I use a lot of internet. I use a lot of streaming. I have a lot of computers running all the time. I'm connected to the internet 24/7. This is what I do for work and all this other stuff. So we hammered out an agreement, a legal binding document, and, you know, we got it taken care of 10 years ago, and they've honored it all these years. But, you know, 4K technology was not available back then. And back then, I only thought that I only needed like 3 terabytes of data a month. And now I exceed almost 5 terabytes a month. So, you know, in reality, I probably do need to fill a new agreement with them, but they haven't ever approached me. I've paid my bill on time for them, like for 10 years. We've been a loyal customer, so they haven't messed with us. And also, I think the person who wrote our contract watches our channel from time to time. At least he did. I don't know if he does anymore. His kids really liked watching our stuff. Alright guys, Mirror Cup time. It's time. Oh boy. There it is, mirror time. I have what? Mirror matches? Okay, here we go. Right and left are reversed now. Uh-oh. Well, we still haven't unlocked whoever that character is. Who haven't we been yet? I guess we could try Baby Mario. The idea of Baby Mario on a motorcycle is kind of funny to me. Baby Mario on a bit bike. Baby Mario on a duck. Could try it. I don't know. I mean, I don't know what happened to Mario's parents. Like, why did they allow the stork to grab them and put them in their own Baby Mario games? At the end of their games, the stork brings them to their parents, though. Alright, here we go. Mushroom Cup Mirror. Well, yeah, William, most Americans have at least, like, 6 streaming services, and they use close to 1 terabyte of data per household. So, some companies are flexible, and they'll give you at least 1 terabyte, which, as an American family, you only need, like, 500 gig to, like, basically binge-watch stuff and whatever. But if you're live streaming, like, you know, to YouTube or Twitch, you're using more of that internet company's data. So you're using more of their bandwidth than all the houses in this area where Amber and I live. We're using more of the internet for that company than anybody who lives in this area. So, like, in reality, they would love to slam us with overage fees, but they can't because we have a legally binding document. We have a contract.
Little Link, I sit here. This is my... He's like, why weren't you here at the beginning? I was there.
Thank you, Little Link. I think we have to push shorts, but I'm not sure.
Oh, we're trying to push them.
Yeah, we... How did it drop by 300?
I don't know.
This stream has only been going on an hour and 30 minutes, and the channel dropped from 1,500 to 1,200.
Because I didn't stream beforehand.
No, it has nothing to do with it. After this race, guys, I'll get you the YouTube Shorts playlist, because we're going to have to push that.
Oh, I can push it right now.
Or
My job.
Amber can help with that too. Oh.
Oh. 125 likes.
Hi. How you doing? Wee. We're gonna ask people, like, if the Switch 2 comes with a new HDMI cable, because Nintendo does not want you to use your Nintendo Switch HDMI cable.
Thank you for the super chats, everyone. Christiana, I think.
Christiana gave us super chat.
Just
And we got a gifted membership.
And I thought we had one from Granddaddy or Tosh, maybe not.
No.
Okay. Oh, no problem, Blues Cat. I don't know.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we need you to click on the YouTube Shorts playlist. If you could do that, that would be fantastic. Thank you very much. We need to try to get the channel's hourly views up, up, up. We're at 1,100 and dropping. So we gotta have those shorts watched to get the views up for the channel. That's the more I see it drop, the more I'll have to talk about it. But you guys can help by clicking that link.
Hi, Country Girl. Thank you for renewing. Thank you, Country Girl. Thank you, Justo. Thank you, Miss Deanna. Thank you, everyone, for the gifted membership, super chat, and renewal. And thank you, everyone, for all of our members and alternates in the chat. I was gonna ask me, maybe I could do my Grey Coastal stream tonight if you want. I didn't get a chance to text him.
You have to remember that Xenoblade will probably be 4 hours. I don't know what's gonna happen with...
If he doesn't mind having it late, I'd like to do it and get it over with, because I'm behind him.
I know, but I won't be done with my King of Fighters stream until at least 1 in the morning.
But there's not too many Fridays, and I thought you said Friday or Sunday, and there's not too many Fridays or Sundays left.
As long as you don't mind doing it at 2 in the morning.
As long as he doesn't mind. I can just ask him if he wouldn't mind doing it too.
I haven't heard from him.
But usually you have to tell him a specific date and say, like, is tonight okay?
Yeah, I know him.
Or is this Friday okay? And then he'll say yes or no.
I know.
That's how he does it.
Linky!
Well, Linky's not doing it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not over yet. I have to agree. Well, we got the nice donation from Bobbert to get the Switch. We'll get that in a month. So.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So that was for the Switch too. So that will help a lot.
I do remember that. Yeah, this is for the Switch too. I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah, remember?
Yep.
But still, I gotta pay the rest of my bills and stuff. I only DoorDashed for like a half an hour, but I made $10 today, so little by little, I'm gonna try to get up real early tomorrow and try to get a few dollars towards the Switch or towards light bulbs or something, or towards bells.
Come on, guys and gals, we need you to click the link. Still at 1,100. The stream, in order for it to perform, it's gotta be like the channel hourly has to be at least like 1,300. Like, we can't have the channel drip, jeez, I can't even talk. We can't have the channel dip below, like, 11 or 12 because it'll impact the whole night. And I can't stop this stream cold turkey either. It's only 600 views, so we have to get 400 more views on this stream before we can even stop. Because we have to go to at least 1,000 to get paid that sweet, sweet YouTube live streaming revenue. Because as we've gone over, there's 2 types of revenue for a streamer. You have your live stream revenue, and you have your upload or VOD revenue. The VOD is so low that a streamer needs to hit 1,000 for their live stream to really get paid anything.
I will say though, people are rewatching some of our videos, and it's going, our VOD thing is going up a little bit.
Also, the VOD thing is going to go up at the end of April because, you know, May is the start of summer, so summer CPM is hitting soon. But it's been a longer time this year for the CPM to go up. Usually it goes up like at the beginning of April. So YouTube's been taking their sweet time. And I did ask them about that whole click-based ad revenue thing, like products thing, and the new guy still hasn't gotten back to me about it.
Wow, how long ago did you ask?
4 weeks ago.
Wow.
And I followed up like twice, saying, hey, my wife and I don't know how to use this new form of ad revenue on the channel that YouTube keeps asking us.
So is he our new partner?
He's our new partner manager, yeah.
And he didn't get back for a month on only one question?
Yep. Yep. Our other partner manager got promoted, and he'll be back in September or October.
Oh my god. So he's not gonna have this at all then?
Nope. Well, I don't know. I mean,
a month to get back or something?
I'm gonna try writing a new email and asking him again.
That's close.
But yeah, it reminds me of how we retreated at that one network when we had questions.
Oh,
And it like took them forever to get back to us. And they would never get back to us like on the weekend.
I'm thinking every network.
Screenwave wasn't bad.
No, they weren't.
Screenwave was really good at what they did. The problem is they didn't have the money to pay what we needed from the other networks. The only reason we left was over monetary problems. They were really nice. And they were very good at their job and getting brand deals. It's just they couldn't pay us very much.
Well, maybe we should go back with them since we're not getting paid very much anyway.
Networks don't exist anymore.
Oh, I forgot.
Everybody is partnered through the YouTube partner program if you're still a YouTube partner.
Well, what happened to the Screenwave people then, since there's no such thing as network?
I heard from Wood, aka Beat 'em Ups, that Screenwave still exists. They're a talent agency now.
Oh my gosh.
So they do the same thing that Freedom does. Like the
So all
YouTube
the
partner,
networks-
the YouTube partner is still paid through the network, but their role is different.
So they take a percentage though?
I don't know. I don't know how it works. Like,
I mean, since they're not in charge of our pay, maybe we should look into getting with them.
I don't know. I mean, I'm with that New York company that doesn't really do anything for the O1 channel, but I don't work on the O1 channel very much, so, you know.
Well, that's not your fault.
But, no, I don't have time. I'm so tired. I work a lot over here. I have to.
I'm sorry.
I mean, a lot of people have to work hard, man. Although I think I work way too hard. Maybe that's just me.
I just smoke this weed.
But the more I keep seeing YouTubers quit, I'm getting kind of concerned.
Yeah, like,
I
quitting?
wasn't counting on this many YouTubers to quit this year.
Oh,
Especially,
you mean you're concerned because you think it'll happen, whatever's happening to them will happen to you, or you're concerned because you know the CPM is going to go down?
No, what's happening to us is already starting to happen to other people. But it's been happening to us for 5 years. It starts to happen to them for a couple months. They call it quits.
Yeah, whereas we've been doing this for
5 years. Yeah. 5 years in this rabbit hole. I told you before, and I told other people, once other YouTubers started to face the problems that Amber and I do on a daily basis, they're going to quit. And that's what's happening.
Because they can't find a way to make it in. Like, the thing I see it like, it's like...
I always love how they say, you know, they tell their audience, they're like, hey, I'm not into this for the money, but really need you guys to become members, and I really need you guys to go. They skip right from getting super chats. They don't even ask for super chats. They're like, go to my subscribe or go to my Patreon, because they know YouTube takes an insane cut of all that stuff. They want to cut YouTube out of the equation completely and go to Patreon so they get more of their subscribers' money.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of ways, like, people can make money if they have an audience, even if that
merchandise
platform isn't paying them anything. You can still make money in other ways.
Merchandising.
If people are watching your stuff, then there is an opportunity to make money.
Mm-hmm.
Even if you're not being paid by that platform.
Good job, guys. You got it up to 1,300. Let's go. See? See? Look at that. That's the power of the community, yo. Look at that. Good job.
Wow, how did they do that?
They did that because we asked them nicely.
Great job, everybody.
Look at that. You guys went from 1,100, like barely, like, we were almost at, like, what was it? Like 1,080. You guys got it up to 1370 or something. Keep it up. You guys are doing fantastic. That's all it is. Look at that. There's 70 people here. Like, if 15 people click those shorts, that's boom. It's right there. That's 250 views, because we're not getting views from the stream. They only give us a couple views for the stream every once in a while. Did I win overall or did I lose? I think I lost.
I mean, I should have been up at midnight when you were putting your hand on that mouse. I should have been there to help hold my hand on
Mouse? What mouse? What?
You said you had to click your hand on the mouse on Best Buy.
Oh my gosh, jeez, no funny. fucking saw a mouse. I was like, what?
Computer mouse.
Computer mouse.
I could have held my hand on it, and then maybe we could have worked together.
I mean, I also think, too, the part of the reason why, if we lived... All the people that ended up getting Switch 2 online lived in places like New York, Chicago, Washington, and California. All the other people, especially YouTubers I know that lived in Pennsylvania, and, like, all those other people, like Wood, who's actually... He lives near Screenwave, and James Ralph. Like,
yeah.
all those guys had to go to EB Games the next day. But the thing is, like, Wood showed up. Wood is beat him up, by the way. He's a really nice guy. So
I don't know who that is.
He's the dude with really long hair that came from Australia. He has a work visa.
Oh my gosh, I've seen that guy's videos.
Yeah, beat him up. Yeah, he's part of Screenwave. He lives about almost an hour and 30 minutes from us. Something like that.
Oh wow.
He attends too many games all the time. Yeah, he's part of Screenwave.
I mean, maybe we should make a day of
I've reached
that one.
I've reached out to him, but like over the years we've never met up because I just you know.
I mean, we could just like go to that one convention that people go in Pennsylvania and bump into people.
Oh, you mean Too Many Games? Yeah.
Happen to meet people there.
Yeah. But he's a super whale. So his whole channel is he buys accessories and games, and he reviews everything. So like he showed up at the Best Buy, or not the Best Buy. He showed up at the GameStop. And I watched his video, but he showed up with a lawn chair. He saw there was nobody there, so he went at like 6 in the morning. Because he tried to do the online stuff that night too, and he was depressed because he didn't get it. And I think...
it must be weird being the first person in line because you look like an idiot.
Well, yeah, he went into Giant and he grabbed a lawn chair.
Oh, wow.
He grabbed a lawn chair, and he says that he found the only lawn chair they had was like the American flag one, so he felt super patriotic, you know, being a guy from Australia. So he put the chair down, and then as soon as he was the first person to put the chair down, someone else came and got a lawn chair from the Giant grocery store.
Oh, wow. So another person got a chair.
Yep, and then more people, like a lot of Screenwave people came to that EB Games. That EB Games is famous in this area of Pennsylvania because of like how many celebrities go there, and like there's a lot of FGC gamers that live in this area too.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
But he literally got everything for the Switch 2. So his receipt was like this.
Yeah, I mean that's how we were when we got the Wii U.
We still didn't get everything from the Wii U because there were some games I didn't want.
Yeah, there was one of the systems we were a whale people, but I don't remember what it was. We went all out, but this time I didn't. I just got the system.
Well, of course. I mean, we also, if we need a game, we can always get it digitally. The only reason our Switch 1 is messed up for downloading games, because people are like, why does your Switch 1 have so many problems downloading? Because my Switch 1 can download so easily. Has to do with our security equipment. Like, the Switch uses older technology that there is no firmware update in the Switch to handle the security codes that are going through our house, like with our internet. PlayStation and Xbox and Steam, no problem. But even with the Switch directly lined into the security router thingy, it doesn't work. So our hope is with the Switch 2 that it will work with the security program and all that other stuff without like impacting it the way that the Switch is. Because basically the Switch is like running DSL, and I know that's an old term that people probably don't know, but DSL was a form of internet Amber and I had in the early 2000s that was a step up from dial-up, but it was still very slow.
Yeah.
So it's like our Switch is running on permanent DSL, and we're literally, like, Amber was like, you wanted me to try to get you this Lunar collection, why don't you just download it digitally? It's like, because if I downloaded it digitally, it would take all night. It would take 7 hours.
I mean, and then it would probably take up a lot of your Switch.
No, it won't take up a lot of space. We have a 1 terabyte drive on that Switch. You know, and I already bought the memory card for our Switch 2 will be here tomorrow. And then I'm gonna put that away until the Switch 2 comes.
Maybe has to DoorDash more for all of these things. Oh, Ambi can't keep up with all of this.
There's nothing wrong with long hair. I grew my hair long because I was super depressed, and also I was trying to help a friend. And now Amber's telling me, when your wife tells you your hair is too long, then you have to cut it. And Amber's been dropping subtle hints. She's like, I liked you looking like Hercules and Terry, because I almost bought today a Fatal Fury hat for Terry, and I was going to wear it around the house.
Oh, you should. Then keep it long.
And then I was like, maybe Amber would let me keep it long for a while. But she's been dropping hints that, because my hair now is all the way, it's definitely down my back at this point. Like, I have long hair like Woods does, but the problem is, Wood looks cool with his long hair. I don't.
You do look cool.
I look like that guy from Joe Dirt. Joe Dirt was that movie with David Spade where he played this trailer guy. Yeah, the more I look at my hair, it's like some men just can't pull off long hair. I'm one of those.
Maybe if I put like
no,
like shiny like special like leave-in conditioner in it to make it look fluffy.
I look more professional, and when I have my short hair. When I have my long hair, it's like I'm a lot shyer. I'm quieter.
Yeah, I've noticed that, like, Ricky doesn't want to get his picture taken and stuff.
No, because I am embarrassed by it.
Yeah, that's kind of why I wanted to get you.
I know.
I mean, I'm not. You don't have to be embarrassed in front of me. That's all I don't think about. I'm sorry, I could have grabbed. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Maybe they know we pre-ordered it.
No, they wouldn't know that kind of stuff. And also, as a business, since you are a registered business, you have to get business expenses. You can't run your business without doing your operation costs if you get in trouble. There's a new console coming out. Our job is to cover it, so of course we have to buy it. Otherwise, your business goes from being a business to a hobby, and if it's a hobby, you're gonna get taxed to death.
I know.
I know. Ah!
I'm looking forward to having the broccoli today.
Yeah. Save me some cheese sauce, because when I make my ham sandwich, I'm gonna put cheese sauce on the sandwich. Think of it kind of like what they do with Arby's. They put cheese sauce in Arby's. Except my cheese sauce is good till tomorrow. I finished off a bag of potato chips by covering it in cheese sauce. It was really good. It was the barbecue chips. I told you I was going to use one of the barbecue chip bags. And I did.
I got that for the side for your sandwich.
Well, I mean, one bag was almost empty, so I
know.
I didn't open the other one. But it was actually really good. The barbecue chips mixed with the cheese sauce that you made for the broccoli.
Oh, gosh.
Oh, so good. It wasn't spicy at all. It had just enough flavor and just enough kick.
Honestly, I was just gonna use the cheese sauce to eat it up because but I don't really like it very much.
I know you make the cheese sauce for me. You don't like it very much.
Well, I don't know. I actually haven't tried my own cheese sauce.
It's really good. Like, it's one of the best cheese sauces you've ever made.
The way that I remember them making it in culinary. And I was like, it finally worked, because your cheese sauce can have several problems. It can split so it's just watery and then clumps of cheese in it. And that didn't happen. It didn't split. It's homogeneous. Like a nice homogeneous cheese sauce that's sticking together and it's liquidy and thick. It's got lots of cheese, lots of flour and milk. And it's perfectly done. And honestly, I think it's healthy as well.
Oh no, I'm used to the... See, it's hard for me to do mirror because everything's backwards.
Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. I need a good item to get back up to the running though. Or I'm gonna cancel. I got up to third. Hooray! Do 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 do. How do I import this? The music's got all weird.
It is very cute.
What, Mario Kart? Mario Kart's a blast.
Don't use it.
The problem is I'm not very good at Mario Kart, so that's the problem. I wish I was better at Mario Kart, but there's just some people that can't play Mario Kart very well. I'm one of those people. Especially if we were playing online with subscribers right now, I'd be in 8th place. And
I don't think so.
Oh no, I did play online with subscribers for Mario Kart Wii and Mario Kart 8, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, Mario Kart 7. I never did well. In fact, I had a chip on my shoulder at one point, and then I played our subscribers, and then I realized, yeah, I'm not very good.
Well, I think you're good at driving.
The old, well, driving games. I said driving game. I didn't say Mario Kart is not like a driving game. Mario Kart is you win by luck. And a lot of that has to do with being pummeled by shells. So our subscribers would destroy me with shells, and then I would have to keep my cool and be like, it's just a game. But it's like I get very upset because I would get like blue shelled plus red shelled plus green shelled with pinpoint accuracy when I'm about ready to cross the finish line, and all of a sudden I'm in 7th or 8th place. So I mean, they're scary good when it comes to the weapons. But no, if it was like Need for Speed, Gran Turismo, I'd win because it's not... It's a skill-based racing game where you don't have to worry about somebody hitting you with a heat-seeking missile. So, you know, I take the turns crazier than most people. I always speed into the turn in, like, games like Gran Turismo and Need for Speed and stuff like that, and I pull it off, because it's like I basically, the term is called catapulting. It's very dangerous to do in real life, but you do get a speed boost if you speed up into a turn. Now, depending on the time of year, you could, you know, crash and die badly if you speed up during a turn. So it's a 50-50 shot, but it's a risky maneuver that works really well in games. And as well as some games, if you hit the wall just right, you can, like, ricochet off of it without crashing.
Wow.
So I know little tricks for actual racing games that do not translate into Mario Kart well. You hit a wall in this, you do not ricochet, you stop.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Mario Kart is a completely different racing beast. And it is. It's fine. I love Mario Kart, but, you know, I'm better at real racing games.
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm going to be curious to see what happens with Mario Kart World if they've, you know, added a little bit of... Since they're doing Forza stuff, maybe they've improved the way that car dynamics work, and if you hit people, maybe it doesn't actually cause you to pause for a second or, you know, be knocked back. The problem with Mario Kart is if you hit somebody in this, you kind of have like a little pause that drops your speed, and then people can easily pass you.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Same thing if you hit the wall and stuff like that. Like, the recovery time in this is not very good for the player.
So, is Daisy one of your favorite characters ever?
Yeah, I love Daisy.
But Luigi is more of your favorite.
Luigi is my favorite, but the Daisy is a girlfriend, so it's like I like both of them. I like them better than the Peach and the Mario.
So...
Probably because Daisy and Luigi, Nintendo has shown them more as like, they've gotten their act together as a couple than Peach and Mario.
Do you like Luigi because he's tall? And because he's sort of shy? Like you, well, I guess you're not really shy.
When I was a kid, they made Luigi an idiot, and that always hurt my feelings because Luigi was always my favorite because I liked the actor who played him. His name was Danny Wells in the Super Mario Bros. Super Show. He was really funny. And Mario came off to me, Captain Lou Albino's character, he felt kind of mean to his brother, and Luigi is supposed to be the older brother, I think. Or no, he was the younger brother. But the way that Luigi carried himself, he acted like the older brother. And, like, Lou Albino, Captain Lou's Mario was kind of mean. So as a kid, I always gravitated toward Luigi, and the person that I played Mario games with in my neighborhood never let me play as Mario. Until I got my own NES.
So you got stuck playing
I always got stuck playing as Luigi, so I really became a Luigi fan, yeah.
That's a nice story.
So when Luigi got his first game, like Luigi's Mansion or whatever, well technically Mario's missing as his first game, but when he had his first real, like, official Nintendo console game, like Luigi's Mansion, you're gonna have to mute that. It was really exciting to me because it's like, man, finally Luigi He's coming into his own. You know, my favorite character is getting his own game from the Mario universe. It's like, let's go. He's pretty excited. Man, I can't catch these people. I think I lost overall. Probably. Might have to do this again. Whoa!
Yeah, so you were excited when Luigi got his...
Yeah, when Luigi's Mansions game was announced, I was very excited, yeah. And ever since, like, Luigi's Mansion, I became, like, a super fan of Luigi. I have more Luigi merch in my house than I do with Mario. Like, Amber and I have more Luigi plushies than we do Mario. I don't even think we have a Mario plushie. We just have Luigi, Kirby, and Link.
Yeah, we don't have
And
a lot
Skeletor!
We don't have a lot of Mario stuff.
Nope, I don't really have any He-Man plushies either. I have one He-Man plush. I've got more Skeletor merch in my house than any He-Man merch. And I've got more Luigi and more Kirby than anything else. We don't have any Mario fluffy things in this house.
Well, you should see GameStop. It looks like the Nintendo World Store in there with all the merch they have.
I would love to see that. See, it's in a bad location, so I've never really gone there.
It looks really nice inside, which I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Like, it looks like it's a very classy store, which is, I'm surprised because of the rundown Walmart next to it.
Yeah, the Walmart next to it in the area of where we live is not... It's not someplace that I like to go.
Yeah, the Walmart nearby.
Yeah. Because that Walmart has high theft.
I can believe it because I feel scared going there late at night.
But I mean...
I don't even go there late at night, actually. I feel scared going there at 7 in the morning. It looks kind of shady. The fact that I mentioned to people when I was in line that the area is sometimes a little shady, and people looked at me like, what? It's like you don't notice that this area is extremely shady? Like,
the cops are at that Walmart all the time.
I know.
Loss prevention stuff.
It's like, do they not notice that police are there all the time?
Ever since the pandemic, like, theft in that area increased like tenfold. There was so much stealing. To the point where that Walmart has most of the stuff.
Oh yeah, it's all locked.
Yeah, not just the pharmacy section, but they have like
everything locked.
They have a lot of stuff locked up. Yeah, it's like we're living in Philadelphia or something.
Yeah, honestly, the one time we went to Philadelphia late at night, and we needed to stop by to get McDonald's. I genuinely felt scared going in the McDonald's. Like, it was terrifying.
The McDonald's had a bulletproof shield.
Like, that was scary.
That McDonald's that we went to in Philly had it had a bulletproof glass. Yeah. Which outside of New York City, I hadn't seen that. I was like, wait, this is Pennsylvania, what? New York City, I'd believe that. Or Chicago, but Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philadelphia doesn't mess around.
Well, it was surprising to me. It's like, whoa.
City of Brothers in Love.
Oh. I think I'm gonna have to do this again. They're giving me crappy items.
To be completely honest, I've been places in Chicago that have scared me to death.
Oh, of course.
To be completely honest, I don't know why, but I had a youth group that our church youth group decided to stay overnight in a church that was in one of the worst areas of Chicago, known for gang violence. And I don't know why we stayed there, but we stayed there overnight, and it was scary the whole time. And then we got up in the morning and tried to help, like, a program that was trying to help people get out of, like, bad situations. But I was thinking, like, we are all going to die. Like, why are we here? Like, this is stupid. Like, I don't know why they did that. Like, why did they take teenagers to extremely dangerous areas?
Oh, to do the witnessing stuff?
No, we just helped them deliver some food and stuff.
I had to, for a church that I worked at.
No, we didn't do any street preaching.
I had to do
food.
One of the churches that I attended in, this was in the 2000s, but they required the youth to go to New York City and do, like, you know, open air ministry.
Oh my gosh.
And I think somebody in our group did get stabbed.
Oh my gosh. Why would they...
And honestly,
and I'm not trying to be... Okay, and also I noticed there was a church I was that I had visited in this area, and they had sent a whole group of people to the Ukraine during the war.
Yep.
And they talked about how they were talking to someone and they were trying to help them with food and stuff. And then they said that the bomb sirens went off and they had to go underground for like 5 hours and stare at each other and not talk. And then they had to get out and then they like resumed their conversation. And I was like, why did you guys go here with kids? Like, what does it matter with you? Like, what on earth does it matter with you? Like, what on earth, what were you thinking? Like, take adults. Why would you take children to do this?
But I don't like open-air ministries. I think they're very dangerous. They were very dangerous 20 years ago. I think they're worse now.
I think it's like making yourself a target.
I think it would be better, like, instead of taking, like, kids to, like, very impoverished, dangerous areas, you should take them to, like, because there's tons of people walking around Rockefeller Center and, like,
yeah, just go
the
somewhere
park
where
and
it's
stuff.
safe.
Go somewhere safe and do your evangelism. Yeah, I don't know why they have people go to the slums. You know,
Yeah,
because
it's because they want to be edgy or cool.
No,
It's so
no,
stupid.
because they believe that those people are the ones who are most hurting and need help.
But that's not true.
Yeah.
That's not true. Everybody needs like hope, and they need to hear like about
Everybody needs
about
spiritual
God
guidance.
and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
exactly.
Everybody needs help.
They just don't. I think it has to do with like sometimes the homeless people are like more receptive to listening to stuff. But at the same time, it does put people in danger because if you say the wrong thing, you can end up getting, hurt. Luckily, the person who was stabbed didn't die, but they did get stabbed in the gut. Yeah.
Yeah, where we went it was known as Cabrini Green, and it was supposedly one of the highest crime rate areas of Chicago, and we stayed there.
Yeah. That's why when I came back from college, I didn't work with open air ministry. I worked with kid ministries, so that's how I got into the camp counseling stuff. That's why I volunteered. I was not paid at that camp. It was a volunteer position when I did that Christian camp, and I worked as a counselor for a couple years, and I worked the dish pit and stuff like that. I still had a job that I went to. It's just when that camp was going on for 3 weeks or whatever, I worked there. And then I worked, the only paid position there was the maintenance people, so I mowed the lawns, like with the big lawnmower, and I helped with the grounds work, like plus being a camp counselor. And then as soon as that job ended, then I went back to doing like, not the radio stuff, because I was still doing radio on the weekends, but I went back to working the golf course and went back to EB games and stuff like that.
But honestly, like, people can help people, even their next door neighbor. You can help them with their groceries or help them get something into their car. Like, you can help people wherever you are. You don't need to go to a neighborhood that's like, you're gonna get yourself killed just to help somebody. You can help people right where you are.
I always love how Christians, like, when something bad happens, they're like, well, it was this young person's time. It's like, but you put them in that position. You
brought them there.
you endangered their life, and then they're gone, and then you're like, at the funeral, well, it was their time to go. God called them home. It's like, your responsibility put them in a position of danger.
Yeah, like, what?
And you're just like, kind of...
It's your fault.
You
brought them
like,
to the worst neighborhood ever.
You're just kind of brushing, what's the term? You're brushing the sand off your feet. It's like you're somewhat responsible for what happened.
I wash my hands of this.
Exactly.
I washed my hands of
like,
this.
Oh, it was their time. Nobody knows how long they're going to be on this earth. It's like, well, if you take somebody to the slums, in the afternoon, chances are, yeah, one of you's probably not going to come back. It's like, why? Why would you do something stupid like that? That's why sometimes just the church really bothers me.
Yeah, and driving in this, like, nice-looking van.
Oh, my God.
And then you, like, start taking out all these clothes and food and everything. It looks like you're loaded in this van. And everyone... And I noticed that all these kids, like, from my neighborhood, like, a lot of them would wear, like, these hoodies that looked like they were from really rich families and stuff. And they were walking around, like, with their headphones and everything in this, like, really bad neighborhood. And it's like... Do you want to get killed or? Like,
yeah, they pop
like,
out
why?
of the van with like nice looking sneakers and like pressed shirts.
See,
and all
you
this
and I,
stuff.
Luke, we learned from a young age. Like, if you if you're in this kind of neighborhood where it's dangerous, you put on your worst pair of sweatpants, your worst pair of sneakers, and your worst hoodie.
Oh, I didn't drive with them. Me and a buddy went up, and I was wearing my ripped up hoodie. I had like jeans that were kind of tore up. I wore my lawnmower sneakers.
You
that
just
I-
like blend.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had lawnmower
Yep.
sneakers too, that covered with grass.
Right,
and stuff.
right. And
just
you know,
try to blend in, like, so that you don't look any different than everyone else there.
I witnessed the people at the soup kitchen that was nearby. I was never in the sidewalk or the alleys because I thought that was incredibly stupid.
Because you even see pictures of people on the street corner, and they have a microphone and they're asking them about stuff like, "What do you think about God?" and stuff, and then they like attack them. It's like, why you're making yourself a huge target.
So anyway, because like we went up separately in different cars, I was the one who drove the guy who got shanked. Like I drove him to the hospital in Chicago.
Oh my gosh, Luke! Oh my gosh!
He made it.
Oh my gosh!
I got him there real fast.
Was the hospital in a bad neighborhood?
No,
Oh, thank
I didn't.
God.
No, I took him to. I got on the highway and like there was somebody in the back applying pressure. No, I'm serious. And like they were trying to stop the ooze. And we got him to the hospital in time. He recovered, and he still went back and did open air ministry after that. And I was
Wow.
just like, dude, you're a guitar player. Just be a part of the worship team. It's like, what is wrong with you?
Sometimes, I'm not trying to be mean, but sometimes I feel like some people lack common sense. It's like they think that if they're doing something like, oh, I'm doing something for charity, therefore I don't need to use common sense while I'm doing it. It's like, yes, you do. You do need to use the same common sense that you would if you weren't doing charity.
Well, they don't believe
Like, you
that.
need to think about this before you go here.
What I've seen of the fundies, no offense, but what I've seen of fundy churches, like the fundamentalists, is like when they survive something, they feel that was a trial that they went through, so that means that the worst of it is over.
Oh, I don't think of that at all. If I went through something and I was walking around in a bad neighborhood late at night and I was trying to help needy people and I got stabbed and I made it, I would see that as a sign from God, never go there again. That would be my sign.
Yeah,
that would be what I would see it as, because
So,
that's what it would be like.
They have the gift of discernment when it comes to good and evil, but they don't have a shred of common sense in their body. What's
Yeah.
funny is that guy Rick that got stabbed, he's the head of like the entire open air ministry in the Chicago area.
Wow.
Like he literally does that for a living.
Oh my gosh.
But he also, I mean, he got a little bit smarter and
I hope so.
but yeah, he's in charge. That's his job, is he organizes that kind of
Cool.
like stuff.
We got a super chat.
Huh? Oh.
Got a super
Thank
chat.
you for the super
I
chat.
think it's from Granddaddy Otaku.
Thank you, Granddaddy.
But yeah, I agree. Like, it's the same. I get so freaked out with things like that, and I just think, like, what is happening? I hear if you do stupid things, you get stupid results. Yeah, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Exactly, Granddaddy Otaku. Common sense in 2025 isn't very common anymore, says a Granddaddy Otaku. Yeah, exactly.
No, that open air ministry was, I was in my 20s.
Yeah,
so...
but they still do stuff like that.
Oh, of course they do.
I mean, even this church that I was looking at, they were
going to the Ukraine.
They went to the Ukraine, and then they actually made this speech. They're like, they did that exact thing you'd said. They said, well, we don't know if we'll make it back or not. They're like, but if we don't, it'll be our time to go. It's like, the fact that you're taking people between the ages of 12 and 15 to the Ukraine where there are bombs dropping.
Yep.
And you're telling us that if you and all of these children die, it's your time to go. I don't think so. Honestly, this is my opinion. I think that, I personally, and I don't know, anything. I don't have, I don't know what God would say, but I think I think these children, if they died, they'd get to heaven and God would be like, why did you do this?
You had very irresponsible
Like,
people.
this is your fault. I never asked you to do this. Exactly. Like, why? What were they thinking? Like, what are you thinking? Like, help an old lady, help one of your neighbors with her grocery bag next to you. That's your neighbor. Why do you need to do this? Why do you need to push this far?
What they don't realize, too, at churches is people, like, they need people at churches to volunteer at the Salvation Army.
Yeah,
and, like, at the Humane Society that deals with stuff, you know?
And just handing out food to people in your neighborhood. Like
They don't have to go, and you remember, I came from New York, so I'm a lot smarter than these people, especially in the Chicago area. You don't have to, if you're a religious person, you do not have to put yourself in a position of danger to preach the gospel. Like, if you really, really want to, you know, you have a heart for people and you want to help out, there are tons of positions, and I'm serious, there's tons of positions at the soup kitchens that are in poor, impoverished neighborhoods. There are places at the Salvation Army where they need people to help load trucks to deliver food. They need people in the kitchen. They need people in the office who have office skills. You know, if you want to volunteer for that kind of stuff. There's things that you can do so you can get your helping people fixed without risking your life.
Yeah, I mean, because of the pandemic, thankfully, there's a lot of people that don't have food.
Because all those places,
I'm not sure.
all those places that help the homeless and stuff, they're always understaffed. They always need young people to help out. They always do.
And all you have to do is, like, put some food in boxes and put it in a car so they can be shipped off. And it's not even that hard, and they need people to do that, exactly.
Like, if I wasn't, like, a full-time YouTuber doing, like, 10 hours a day, I would, like, dedicate, like, a few days a week to working in a soup kitchen again. Because I did enjoy it. I liked it. You know?
I mean, you showed me that pamphlet where they needed people to help out, like, making meals for people.
Yeah, there's a Meals on Wheels position in this area that I think Amber would be really good at.
Luke thinks I should try it. I might apply for it. They're actually paying for it.
It's a paid position, yeah.
That's very sweet of you.
I got paid to load the trucks for the Salvation Army.
And I mean, like, that's one thing Luke always told me, like, you know, like, don't, you know, he even says, like, you know, don't test God.
Well, yeah, it is. It is basically saying, hey, God, I'm going to the slums of New York City without a vest, without a firearm, and I'm going to go and preach the word. Watch over me. And God is just kind of like, are you challenging me?
Right.
Like, it's like, I guess I'm removing that, you know, it's like, isn't it say, do not tempt the Lord your God?
Yeah, exactly.
Like, so aren't Christians, when they do this dangerous, stupid stuff, aren't they basically telling God, hey, I'm going here, God, you better protect me or I'm gonna die?
It's like, okay, well, I didn't ask you to go here, so
exactly. It's like when I meant to go preach to the nations, there's this businessman who's had 3 divorces that doesn't know me, and you completely ignored this guy, and now he's gonna get in a car accident and die.
He lives right next to you. Could have said
that was the soul in New York City I wanted you to go talk to.
Exactly.
You know, there were lots of opportunities that you chose to ignore because you thought I wanted you to go here. Exactly. That's why I'm not suited for the ministry. Is I just can't do it.
Well, it's because people don't use common sense. It's like, as soon as they're like, well, you know, we're gonna do something really great, and then they're like, I feel in my heart we're supposed to do this, and then they're like, I'm just gonna take common sense and throw it out the window. Like, you know, and it's just like, why?
And they don't realize that God gave them common sense and discernment to keep them safe, and they completely ignore the warnings.
Yeah, like, God gives you a brain for a reason.
Use it! Use your brain!
Think about it.
Stupid fundies.
Think about it before you... Yeah, but I mean, I appreciate... It's nice that they, like, you know, try to help people, but I do get scared. Like, I do get... Like, if my kid was in Sunday school or something, and they were like, hey, Mom, we're going to a war-torn country, you know, we're going to go to...
Yeah, I'm not signing that field
You know, we're going to go to, you know, like, I don't know, I can't think of... Well, I don't want to put it, but, you know, we're going to go to Syria or something, and there's a war going on or something. It'd be like, no, I'm not sending you here.
Why can't you go to the Bronx Zoo like normal kids?
Like, I'm not sending you there. Like, you're gonna have... Why don't you send them some, like, a check or something? And let the people over there, like, help. Because, you know, they probably... Honestly, if...
No, I'd just be like to little Susie or Jimmy or whatever. It'd be like, hey, you want to go help people in need? I signed you up for a weekend at the soup kitchen. You'll be living there you're going to stay overnight. and you're going to help clean toilets. You're going to load the trucks. You're going to be working in the kitchen. You're going to learn what it is to be a servant to the people. And that'll get you out of your, I need to go do something dangerous thing. It's also, you're going to meet a lot of people that, you know, are there who have cancer and all kinds of stuff who are there and they need help. You go witness to them there. Go preach there.
If it's safe and, like, the traveling in that country is safe, I don't mind.
Safe.
I don't mind. But I'm saying, like, if it's a country that you know is at war currently and there's bombs dropping, I don't see any reason to send my kid there.
Here's the thing. Like, yeah, I don't agree with those.
I think that's crazy.
I don't agree with those mission trips. If you become a missionary, it's basically like you're saying, I could die at any time in this foreign country.
Yeah, but you should be an adult. You shouldn't bring kids there.
Exactly. If you have kids when you're in the field as a missionary, that's one thing. But if you're recruiting people to go on a missions trip with you and they, you know... It's not like, you know, signing off on a field trip.
It's irresponsible, I feel.
Right, because being a missionary is actually a job. It's a job where you are risking your life because you're in some foreign country preaching the Word of God. You know, and a lot of missionaries do end up getting yeeted. They always have.
Right, exactly.
It's not, you know, but it's of course it's a dangerous job, but somebody has to do it. But you don't have to have people who are not connected to it or think it's like some type of tourist thing.
Yeah, like they think it's like a game. I mean, I even remember when we were in Chicago and my youth group people were like, oh my gosh, like they were looking at each other smiling like, oh my gosh, we could get killed at any time, and they were laughing. And I was just thinking, like,
Why?
You guys are freaking morons. Like, I cannot even believe you're laughing about this because, like, that is the stupidest thing to laugh about because you should not be laughing about it.
You get one life, don't screw it up.
Like, why would you risk your life if you don't need to?
Exactly.
Like, and what was weird is I noticed when we went there was already churches there handing out food, helping people. So, I mean, and they already, you know, and they already knew the area. They weren't like strangers that didn't know how to navigate that area and stuff. That's how I feel. So it's like, why didn't we just send food to those churches that were already there? You know what I mean? That's how I felt. But I get it. Like, they're trying to give people new experiences, but I don't know. Some of the, like, some experiences you don't need to have. Like bungee jumping. I don't need that experience because I don't want to die on it. I don't want the cord to break. And it's just in the same way I don't want to go to a neighborhood that's unnecessarily bad for no reason.
I mean, it's common sense to avoid those places. You shouldn't be there. Even people who live in that area, they don't go out at night.
Exactly.
There's a reason for that.
Exactly. And that's one thing I was thinking about when we were there in Chicago was we were walking around and there was nobody there on the street except for us. And I was thinking, what? I was thinking, we are a couple of, like, we are idiots. Like, we're
a bunch of targets walking around.
Like, here's a huge target of people.
Yeah. Let me just paint a bullseye on our back as we stroll around this area of Chicago at like 1 in the morning.
Let's put these sweatshirts on. They have bullseyes on them.
Free money right here.
It's our logo for our group. Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to get into such a weird topic. Oh, I'm sorry, Luke.
At least we're safe. I mean, well, we have common sense. And also, I can make fun of Christians because I'm a PK. My dad was in the ministry for 40 years. I went to a Christian college. I served at soup kitchens, and, you know, I did my time. Like, I would do it again in a heartbeat if it paid well. I would love to work for the Salvation Army, you know, being a bell ringer or loading up the trucks for food or, you know, dealing with like animal ministries and all that other stuff. But, you know, I'm a full-time YouTuber. That's the position that I am in, where we live stream every day. That's how we do stuff. We're a positive force on the internet for people that doesn't swear, and we keep the topics like mostly on gaming. I'd say 90% gaming. 90%.
The real mission are the friends we make along the way, says Granddaddy Otaku.
Well, I'll just be completely honest with you guys. Like, missionary work is very dangerous. I went to somebody at a Christian college. We went around the same time as 9/11. Let me finish, please.
Yeah.
I went to school during 9/11, a Christian college. And my bunkmate, like I wouldn't say bunkmate. That sounds weird. The guy who was in my dorm, who was in my room, he wanted to become he was training to be a helicopter pilot for, like, the South America, Venezuela area. So he got his job. He was a helicopter pilot for many, many years. and then he got shot down in Venezuela. He died.
Yeah.
You know, he was a guy who was administering. He worked for a company. He worked for a missions group that was delivering food and aid to, you know, people, because Venezuela was in very bad shape. It still is.
Yeah.
But he was flying over some area. You know, he had a wife and kids there. He got shot down and died.
Yeah, the government pretty much collapsed in Venezuela.
Got hit with an RPG. You know, and this was a guy who sat next to me in college for like a year and a half. Like, he literally went to my dorm. He wanted to be a missionary. He became a pilot. He went and he served. He thought he was doing God's will. You know, I never believed he wasn't, you know, doing God's will. He died in a war-torn country.
But at least he wasn't a kid, like he.
No,
he was doing.
when he died, he was like in his 30s, something like that. I heard he passed away like 2000 and I think it was 12, something like that.
Yeah, oh yeah, even going to strangers' doors sometimes is dangerous doing mission work, says Miss Deanna.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely Pup Jojo says, I volunteer sometimes, especially during Pride Month, I volunteer by explaining AIDS prevention, helping with that kind of stuff. That's awesome, Pup Jojo. And Anna Sensei says, I used to help at our church's food bank, and I'd like to do that again someday. That's nice, Anna. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of places you guys can help. And Cryptic was saying, I don't think I would send my kid to a foreign country without me at all.
Exactly.
That's actually a good point, because, I mean, the fact that you're sending your kid with a group of other kids to a foreign country without you there watching, yeah, that's a really good point. Like, it's almost not even safe.
And even if you guys don't believe in God, like, the Salvation Army is always looking for people to help with stuff, and they're always looking, food banks are always looking for food. So you can always, like, if you don't have time to go and, like, do a soup kitchen stuff, they need food. So if you have food that's, like, gonna expire in 2 months or something like that, you could drop that off at a local food bank, and that's gonna help your community a lot, as well as people that don't have any food, because there are some people, I'm not saying all people do this, but there's some people who give, like, the Salvation Army and food banks food that's expired.
Yes.
So when people who are, you know, down on their luck come to these places to get food, they're getting malnutritioned because they're getting food that's already expired.
I got very sick because I had to get food from the Salvation Army, and it was, all of the food I got was over 6 months expired, and I was violently sick.
So if you ever drop off food at a food bank, try to make sure that it's at least, like, got maybe like 2 months of shelf life, because what will happen is the food bank will get rid of that stuff first to people that need it. Because, I mean, we don't, I don't say we, because I don't work for these agencies anymore, but they don't like to give out food that's gone bad. Yeah,
there's a lot of places. I mean, even the Salvation Army, like a lot of people think, oh, you know, they're just helping churches and stuff, but that's not actually true.
No, they help the poor.
Because when I didn't have any food for a while, and I didn't even could even pay my rent when I was living on my own, I went there, and they didn't ask me any questions.
Nope.
Like, they didn't even ask me what I believed or anything. I just walked in there, I said, I don't have any food, and I'm wondering if you have any, and they said, okay, 1 second. I sat down, they handed me a box of food, and I walked out with it. They didn't ask me a single question.
Yep.
Like, I could have been anyone. So,
there's no probing. You don't have to wear a cross necklace to get help at the Salvation Army.
Like, they just basically give people food.
That's why it's called the Salvation Army. It's people volunteering, people of faith usually, who volunteer to help people who need it. That's all it is. That's what the organization has always been.
Any people to volunteer.
The only time that they ask people for donations is during Christmas time, when you have the bell ringers across the country, because it is a non-profit organization.
Yeah, but there's actually a lot of food banks now. Like, they have citywide food banks, and
yes, they do.
Like, even my college, my counselor, I got food from my college as well. My community college, my guidance counselor had an entire little area of food behind her desk where she helped students that were low on food, and I got food from her too.
Yep. Amber and I also, like, for little ones at Christmas, we did Toys for Tots for 10 years when we could afford it.
I want to do, like, that one thing again.
Operation Christmas Child, we did for a little while. But we did, I helped out the Toys for Tots was involved with the military.
Yeah.
So it was support of the military.
But I mean, there's so many things you can do, like, besides getting yourself into danger.
Of course.
Like, and even helping people, like people act like, oh, I think, you know, God's calling me to this foreign country where I could get killed. Well, what about what about your neighbor that you meet every day and say hello to, that you may have never helped with anything or might need a friendly word or help with getting their groceries out of their car? God could be calling you to help them.
Yeah, what about that old man that's struggling next door?
Yeah, like
why did you ignore him so you can go halfway across the world?
They're right there in front of you. So yeah, exactly.
As they say, there are signs everywhere.
It's like the question, like, who is my neighbor? It's whoever is right put in your path, basically. Like, yeah. But anyway, sorry to get on a weird topic. I don't even know how I got on it, but I guess I'm glad I got that off of my chest. Yeah, Granddaddy Otaku had another super chat. Thank you, Granddaddy. Was like, God chose this to be our time. God, actually. So.
Yeah, what did you do?
Yeah, you messed up.
You done messed up.
Yeah. Daisy's cute.
Daisy's fun.
I don't know what everyone's outfits are gonna look like in the new one.
They have all kinds of new outfits in the new one. They have costumes that you get from fast food. It's the American way. Ah! Yahoo.
What was I gonna say? I like the outfits for Wario and Waluigi. I think they're really cool. They make them look like biker people and stuff. I think that looks really cool.
Why would the thunder and lightning make me small too? It didn't used to do that, did it?
Oh, you used the power up and then it made you small?
Right. I used the thunder and lightning thing and it made me small.
I just have a horrible feeling about Mario Kart World, to be completely honest.
Why? What do you think is going to be wrong with it?
I think it's going to be too hard to explore the whole thing. I think it's going to be a nightmare. It's going to be like getting Pokemon and collecting 3,000 Pokemon.
No, it's not. I'm not doing 100%.
I'm actually dreading playing the game because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, like this is going to be way too big. Like I don't think I can handle this. Like,
no, it's going to be fine. It's going to be like instead of, how do I put this? Instead of you going, yay.
Yeah.
Instead of you going to, no! Well, I got second. That's the best I could do. Instead of you going, like, right now, when we finish a race, it brings us right to shoot. I lost. That's it. Oh my gosh, I lost badly. I don't think I can pull off this. I can try. Instead of you, like, right now, it's going to take us to the next race, right? In the new game, you're going to drive to the next race, but you're still in competition with the people, which I don't understand how that works. Like, it's almost like a mini race before you get to your next racetrack or something like that. So that's going to take some getting used to. And then, you know, you can do free roaming. Free roaming is basically like what it was in Forza. And did you ever see any of my Forza or the crew streams where I was doing crazy things like driving up mountains and jumping off them?
I saw you play Forza. I don't think I saw you jump off a mountain.
I drove people crazy because I would literally go off the course. I would take a beautiful supercar.
Oh no.
Yeah, and I would drive in the grass and the dirt and drive in mountains and stuff. So I would literally go off-road by choice. And it really drove people crazy. Because they're like, why aren't you staying on the road? It's like, where I'm going, I don't need roads.
I mean, it's better than wrecking a real car in real life.
Exactly. So yeah, I would wreck the car. I'd do all kinds of stuff. I'd play the way I wanted to because it was a late night stream. Most of my car streams started at around 1 in the morning, and by that point I do get kind of loopy. So, you know, I was doing all kinds of fun, crazy stuff. Because I wanted to. Because everyone else who was playing the game, they're just staying on the road and, you know, listening to the tunes, and it's like, well, I want to see what I can really do with this open world, so let's go.
Yeah.
And Mario Kart World encourages that kind of exploration, so...
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miss Deanna says, yeah, I'm okay with not having experiences I don't need. I agree, Miss Deanna. Because it's like... some things you just don't... if it's extremely dangerous, like, you don't need to know what it's like. I'm good. It's like having like I've never tried poisonous pufferfish before, and I don't plan on doing it. Like I'm good with it. Like I don't need to put myself unnecessarily in danger.
Oh, the leaves can mess you up. Wow.
Have I heard of lizard people? Have I, Alpha?
Don't
get me started.
Don't get Amber started with that, please.
Don't get me started.
Nope.
There is a costume for Daisy. The Arabian one says OH. Oh, which one? On this game or the other one?
In the new game.
Oh. Some people are talking about the shrinking. The Thunder and Lightning item is cursed. If you don't tag your opponent soon, you'll get shrunk. Okay.
How do you tag your opponent with it?
Oh, you have to tag them. Oh, okay.
How do you tag them?
Thank you, OH. Oh, that's very nice, Country Girl says. My mom used to take people to Awana's in a van. And she got a certificate of appreciation. And we still have it in our living room. That's really nice, Country Girl. Yeah, Awana's was a really nice club.
Awana sounds familiar.
Awana's, yeah.
That's an Illinois thing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a club, it's kind of like like the Boys and Girls Club of America.
Yeah.
It's like that, but it's for church kids. So they play games and they win prizes, but they have to recite. Instead of doing what they do at the Boys and Girls Club, which I was in that as well, where you paint stuff and you play basketball.
Right.
It was like that, but you do in addition to doing you do races. They sometimes play sort of a indoor version of t-ball or whatever. But also, in addition to that, you memorize Bible verses and get points for it. So it was like a church version of the Boys and Girls Club. Yeah.
Okay.
I actually know, I remember what Awana's means. Approved workmen are not ashamed.
That's cool.
Next follow-up question. Why are there so many people with piranha plant and bullet bills on the trunk of trucks? Who needs all those piranha plants and bullet bills? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have a video on my channel, says Country Girl, about epilepsy because I felt God telling me to tell my story about it, and I had people saying thank you for sharing your story. Yeah, I mean, that's a great way to help people because you're actually helping give people hope that might have epilepsy or might have another health condition that makes them feel makes their life hard, and you sharing your story, that is a really great thing, Country Girl. That's really awesome. That's awesome. See, that's a great way to help people too.
See, as early as 2008, they showed Daisy and Luigi being so close as statues. So they're basically dancing together, holding hands in the Daisy fountain.
If this was a K-drama, they'd be the secondary couple.
They'd be the secondary couple that gets married before the main couple.
Yeah.
Because sometimes the secondary couples in Korean dramas, they get together first, and then they're watching as the main couple struggle for the entire 20 episodes.
Yeah.
See how they're holding hands and dancing? They look so cute in that fountain thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I always like Luigi and Daisy better as a Nintendo couple, because they just, I don't know, they're totally opposite. Daisy's very spunky, Luigi's very shy and quiet, but somehow they just bring out the best to each other. They work.
Maybe I'm a little bit like Daisy because I do like doing sports and stuff.
And Peach and Mario, it's sometimes Peach really wants to commit and other times Mario does, but they both do their own thing.
Won't they?
Yeah.
So Roz and Rachel.
Link and Zelda have shown more interest in each other than Mario and Peach.
Yep.
The only time I really saw Mario dig down and get really, try to help Peach out is Rosalina in 2007 refers to Peach as Mario's special one in Mario Galaxy.
Opposites attract, says Tomboy Gamer Wolf. That's true. Luke and I are very opposite.
Oh, yes.
It's we're opposite in every way possible.
Yep. But we're like magnets, but opposite magnets.
Yeah.
We don't repel each other.
Yeah. I think opposites attract because if you always struggle with something I always struggle with being confident and cool and collected under pressure, and Luke doesn't really struggle with that. So it's like seeing somebody who's like able to be like confident without any problem at all makes me like really admire him a lot, because it's like, oh wow, I wish I could be like that. I don't know. I guess I don't really know what I'm good at that Luke likes, but I guess I'm good at cooking now. But I didn't.
Too many things to name.
I didn't used to be good at cooking.
Too many things for me to name. You're good at so many things.
Oh, it's very sweet.
It's true. It's true though.
My two dogs, Peter and Nana, are very different, but they're best friends despite their different personalities, says Tomboy Gamer Wolf. Yeah, actually, Link and Zelda are opposites, but they like snuggling next to each other. Well, they like snuggling within 4 feet of each other. They probably would miss each other if they were gone, though.
Blue shell cometh, yeah. Blue shell cometh, blue shell taketh away.
Oh, that's cool. I haven't seen the heck of a boss, Kaya. I don't know what that is.
It's a shell. Daisy circuit. Try again. Try again.
I believe in God, says Marion. That's very nice, Marion.
I mean, Amber and I are Christians, but we don't talk about it all the time. The channel is gaming focused, but, you know, we can't... Our faith is not something we can turn off. It depends on, like, what the day is that we talk more about faith-based things or spiritual things, but we don't do it all the time. But it's not something that... We're not a channel that's dedicated to that. We happen to be Christians, but we're also gamers. Yeah. So that's why we have wholesome content, is because of our faith. So.
Yeah, and we both kind of saw that, like, church culture growing up. But
yeah,
but for
church culture.
For us, like, Luke and I both had some of the same reactions to it, where not everything we saw in church culture was something we were like, okay, this is kind of weird. Yeah. Like, I'm not sure if God wants people to be doing this. Where I feel like we were able to see that from being immersed in it so much that we were just like one thing when I first met Luke was I told, you know, he noticed I didn't wear any, like, Christian t-shirts ever.
Yep.
And I said, I don't really want to wear, like, a Bible verse that says, like, you know, like, you know, treat everyone with love and all this stuff like this, like, on my shirt. And I might be having a bad day, and then I would be mean to someone that day, so it would contradict my shirt. So that's why I never really wear, like, a verse on my shirt, because I would feel like it would be a really bad... It would be a really bad testimony. Like, if I better make sure I'm acting the correct way if I'm going to be wearing that on my shirt. So that's why I don't really wear that a lot. I mean, like... Well,
I was always butting the heads. As a gamer, my whole life, I was always butting heads with the church because they saw gaming as evil.
Yeah.
And I was always in defense. It's like, well, you watch R-rated movies. What's so wrong with gaming?
I think that's what made us, like, outcasts, was doing video games. Was literally... We were made outcasts by, basically, the church basically outcasted us, because...
We're still, like, 20 years later, they still treat gaming as, like, it's some type of, like, demonic thing.
But we don't believe that that is true, because we think that gaming actually helps... We think that it's a really good thing.
There are bad games that are very occult-based, and, you know, we don't play those things.
It says, you know, whatever is good, whatever is pure, whatever... is of good rapport, think of those things.
Yep.
And, you know, if you're watching the news, or if you're watching a soap opera and there's, like, all this, like, drama and people hating each other in the soap opera, or you're watching the news and there's all this crime, you're not really thinking of good, positive things. But if you're playing Mario Kart with your friends and you're laughing and you're having fun, you are being positive. It is a good thing. Like, that's exactly a great thing that is exactly what I feel like God would want you to do, is, like, think about great things that make you happy and are positive, which a lot of gaming is really positive.
A lot of it
So I feel like people are just complete. I think the church is just
Well,
completely
my
missing
argument
out
with it is
they
like
just don't understand how great it is.
there are games that are inappropriate and there are games that are appropriate. Just like you sit your kids down as a church person, and you used to let them watch Sesame Street and all this other stuff before it got really weird. Gaming is the same. Like, there's all types of content in games that is appropriate and not appropriate.
Yeah, just
You
like
as a parent have to go and discern what's acceptable for your kid to play and what isn't.
Yeah, just like in shows and movies, and honestly, even the news. Like, there's some things on the news you probably shouldn't be showing your kids happening.
Oh, of course, yeah. Because now a lot of the news is uncensored so that they can get more ratings, yeah. Like, they'll be like, the following images are so graphic. It's like, well, why are you showing
Yeah,
them?
you shouldn't show them.
You shouldn't be showing this on TV. It's like the internet is one thing, but on TV, you shouldn't be showing this on TV.
Yeah, that's why I hate going on Twitter, because sometimes they show very bad things on Twitter. Like
They really need to regulate Twitter because
it should be censored.
Twitter has way too much stuff on
Like,
there.
they show very violent things happening in other countries on Twitter, and it just randomly pops in your feed.
Well,
And it's like,
not just that. They also have, like, porn is everywhere.
yeah.
Like, everywhere. You'll go on a video game post and there'll be an advertisement for OF or something, and it's like, wow. It's like, and I understand that billionaire wants more money, but I mean, there's all kinds of people that use Twitter and X, so it's totally unacceptable.
Yeah, I mean, that's one reason I do, like, a lot of people ask us why we don't go to Twitch, and there's one of the reasons right there. It's way more uncensored, I think.
Oh yeah, it's 100% uncensored. Yeah.
And Rumble is even worse uncensored, I think.
Yep. But Rumble's uncensored from the other political parties. So I've noticed the other side, they swear like sailors all the time. The other side, they're very, we'll say, lewd and rude. But the other side, they think they can be cool by swearing all the time at the opposition. It's like, that doesn't make you look like you're conservative. Yeah, cussing people out every other word. It's like that's the opposite of what that political party would behave.
In today's world, like, everyone swears like a sailor.
Yeah, I know.
Like, even no matter what you believe, no matter what political side you are, no matter what your beliefs are, like, tons of people swear a lot. Like, even when I was in line, like, even when I was in line for the, like, Switch 2, I was noticing some people around me were like, this bleeping line is bleeping long, and we've bleeping been here for bleeping 3 hours, and it's just like over and over and over again, just completely casual, like, without any even regard for, like, the fact that they're constantly saying it. It's just like, oh my gosh, like, this is how you talk, like, amongst strangers that you've never met? Like, oh my gosh. Like, if I swore a lot, at least I would, like, get to know, like, people before I would, like, go for it, like, full turkey. At least I would know if people are okay with it first.
I don't think I've ever heard my dad swear the entire time I've known him. Like, he is that typical pastor that, like, he tells bad jokes. Like, when I mean bad jokes, they're, like, really corny, like dad jokes. He tells dad jokes. I've seen him hit his hand with a hammer because he was a carpenter. I've never heard him swear, ever. Like, not once. I can't say the same. I got my hand stuck in a car door once, and I was in the church parking lot. Everybody heard me. Everybody heard the pastor's son. My dad, I've never heard. Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I was late for work, and I was a little scatterbrained. I closed the door on my hand.
But it also depends on, like, in today's day and age, like, you're on the internet a lot, so you're gonna hear that all the time.
I'm amazed that we haven't succumbed to a lot of stuff because we work on the internet, because we hear stuff all the time.
Even in public schools, like, even going to public schools, you're gonna hear that all the time, whereas, our parents and grandparents probably wouldn't have heard that as much growing up on a regular basis. Whereas we get subjected to it 24/7 wherever we are.
Oh yeah.
Like, I'm talking about we as in everyone here, wherever they are. And
well, if you're part of internet culture, you hear all kinds of stuff every day. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it's sort of it's more understandable, like, because, if you're hearing it all the time, it's probably going to come out of you at some point because you're hearing it so much.
Yep, you're surrounded by it 24/7. Twitter, Facebook, YouTube. The reason why a lot of YouTubers swear though is because they're trying to not get their videos made MFK. So they're doing it for a reason. They're not just doing it because, you know. There's even one YouTuber I've seen that, like, literally he says, okay, since I have to do the mandatory swearing, and so for like 30 seconds he'll drop like 10 swear words in his opening.
No.
And then, you know, goes right back to whatever. That way people can't say, yeah, this content's MFK, because literally for the first 30 seconds of his video, he dropped like 7 heavy swear words.
I was just thinking.
And then
like,
went on, for the rest of his video, he talks completely normal. He doesn't swear again.
Yeah. I was just thinking, like, you could actually theoretically put that in your video for 4 seconds or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then if the COPPA law was ever repealed, you could just cut that part out of every video.
Yeah, you
know,
could. You could. You could easily trim that out.
You could trim all your videos eventually, and then they'd be completely without swearing.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you really felt uncomfortable swearing in your video, you could just get a sound clip of a movie swearing.
The problem is advertisers don't like that kind of stuff. Like, it makes... If you do that a lot, you're limiting the amount of money you can make on them.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, I have noticed advertisers are kind of coming back a little bit to YouTube, but it's slow. It's pretty slow going.
To some extent, they do, yeah.
Like, I noticed some of the candy companies are coming back, and they pay very well for ads. I haven't seen them for, like, 12 years or something.
Oh, candy companies? The last Butterfinger ad I remember on YouTube was, like, 2018.
Yeah, they haven't been on YouTube for 10 years.
They left during
Almost.
the Jake Paul incident. Was it
Yeah.
Jake Paul or what's the Jake? No.
Yeah,
What's the oldest brother? What's his name?
Logan Paul.
Logan Paul incident. Yeah.
They
left during the Logan Paul incident.
I mean, I've already told people. I mean, I've said it so many times that the ad apocalypse affected everyone's channel, and people thought, oh, it didn't affect them that much, but it really has.
It did.
It has. It really has. I mean, there's been COPPA, there's been people's channels getting hacked, there's been YouTubers leaving that are gaming, YouTubers that have caused the CPM to go down. But I really feel the ad apocalypse has hurt people a tremendous amount. I mean, just for that one video from Logan Paul has literally affected millions of people's YouTube channels and their income.
Well,
for just that one video.
No, it was him. He started it, and then that was the same year that the Mortal Kombat game came out. And then YouTube went after all. Don't you remember all? Our Mature channel was around at that time.
Yeah.
Our Mature channel got demonetized.
Yeah, that was wrong.
Right. So I mean, they went after a witch hunt of like Mature channels, like after the
even though
Logan
we weren't
Paul
even
incident.
playing that bad of stuff on there.
No. So everybody got like yellow monetization for like it was like 6 months. So people did a huge migration to Twitch, like a lot of like people who were uploading on YouTube that did M-rated games. That's when Twitch started to get bigger than YouTube too. At one point.
Yeah, at one point they demonetized all the FPS channels, which was insane.
Right, it was FPS and Mortal Kombat.
Yeah,
it was after the first ad apocalypse was Logan Paul's fault, and the second one, which was 2 years later, was because of the Mortal Kombat people. Because the Mortal Kombat people made such graphic fatalities that it almost voided YouTube's terms of service. So the Mortal Kombat players had to decide, are we going to take the hit for showing this stuff, or are we, just going to cut it out of our videos? Because if you showed it, you would get your video demonetized.
Yeah.
And so, like, eventually YouTube had to come to the decision, even though this is graphic content, it's basically NC-17 content.
Yeah.
We're going to allow it on our platform anyway, because they didn't want to lose the Mortal Kombat YouTubers, which there were hundreds. And
yeah, they should have. I mean, it should have been like a way to like cut that one, just the fatalities out.
Oh, it would have been very easy for them to cut out the fatalities, but they wanted to show them because they were super edgy.
Yeah, but I mean, just like it would be the same as if you had a nude scene. Like you could just say this isn't allowed. Like
oh, that's not up for debate. If you show a nude scene on YouTube, you'll lose your channel. You can't do that.
Yeah.
Which is amazing that they've still held to that standard that they created all those years ago.
Yeah, thank God, because... Yeah, because, like, at least there's some sort of rule.
Oh, I got hit too much. Gotta do it again.
That's why I like being on YouTube, because I know there's some sort of sanity on YouTube. Because I don't feel the same on Twitch and Rumble. Like, there's no censorship at all. And, of course, even on Twitter or Instagram or Tumblr... all of these
Tumblr still exists?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
All of these places, TikTok, I don't think there's any censorship on any of those. Like, there's no censorship.
Sorry, guys. Like, if you get a low position, like, anytime during the race, you will not succeed. So, I had to quit because there's no way around it. Like, no matter how good you are, you are not going to be able to climb out of the pit from that. If you finish in, like, 8th place in the first lap, or first race, you're done. So you may as well restart, because you'll never be able to get enough points. Like, in order to qualify and to continue your journey of Mirror Cup, you have to get 2nd place. You have to. And even 2nd place is really not good enough. You really need to get 1st. But they're going to hammer you with blue shells, with red shells. The green shells will not miss. The bananas will not miss. It gets really ruthless on this Wii game. So restarting is going to be a thing that happens constantly. Oh my gosh, look at that. Right from red to blue, just like that.
Sorry I didn't see the chat, guys. Miss Deanna was saying, Miss Amber, it was like that when I was a kid, when I would hear my classmates swear a lot.
Yep.
When I started 6th grade, it was a bad school, and I thought I had to go there because I was bad. Aww.
I'm sorry, Miss Deanna.
I'm sorry, Miss Deanna. You've never been bad.
I used to wear headphones because we had kids in our class. Well, I had kids in my class that swore all the time, like really heavy swear words. So I would just tune them out. I would have my Game Boy, not Game Boy Advance, my Game Boy Color, and I would have my Walkman, and I would listen to music before class started, because they were, you know, they're trying to be cool, swearing all the time, and like threatening each other and stuff like that, and I just didn't want to be around that. I just was completely tuned out.
Yeah,
if somebody came up to me and they asked me a question or whatever, like asked me how I was doing, I'd take my headphones off and you know, socialize, but for the most part I just completely withdrew.
I thought that was a huge thing in the 90s and early 2000s, like with your earbuds or headphones.
It was headphones.
Headphones and a hoodie, like...
Yep.
I knew a lot of kids that were either shy or they didn't want to talk to people, and they would just have a hoodie and their headphones, and they would just sit in the corner.
Yep.
And listen to their music, because they really didn't want to socialize, because there was nobody in the school they really wanted to talk to, because everyone was kind of crazy.
During my sophomore year, I would just stay in my car until like 5 minutes before class. I didn't even use my locker. I kept my books and stuff in my car, because I didn't want to go to my locker, because my locker area was so toxic.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would keep my books, you know, at my car, and I just walked to the student parking, because remember, I was older than everybody, so like I drove to school during my sophomore year every day.
Yeah.
You know, because I had a job, so I could pay for gas and stuff like that. My dad said as long as I could pay for gas, I could drive to school.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, so I cut out the bus, I cut out everything. I just drove to school.
Yeah.
My entire sophomore year.
That's cool, Luke.
Yeah.
And yeah, Pup Jojo says, Joseph says, what Mortal Kombat players do is they make it black and white on YouTube, says Joseph.
Yeah, that's how they tried to get around it, yep.
I was too busy, so I didn't notice, says Gamewing. Oh, with school and stuff?
Oh,
yeah, I felt like high school and middle school and junior high was a nightmare for me. Like, it was a nightmare. But thank God, like, I had orchestra. It saved my life, basically, because the orchestra kids were pretty nice.
Oh, yeah.
But...
I wish I was an orchestra. Band people were mean.
Yeah, the band people were rude.
Band people were super mean.
In fact, even when we used to do collaborations between band and orchestra, and whenever the band people would come and play with us, they were really mean and really rude.
Yep. The
And
drummers? Oh, yeah.
They were mean, and then we thought, like, why are these kids being so mean to us?
When I was in band in New York, everybody was so nice and chill. When I went to Illinois, everyone had a chip on their shoulder.
Yeah.
No offense.
Everyone in band was rude.
But I actually planned on staying in band. But like they were so mean. Like I was a better drummer than them. They forced me to play triangle for 6 months. I quit band.
Yeah, they were like
I was a better percussionist than them. They didn't let
like
me
a
play
power
snare.
trip
Yeah,
for them.
they didn't let me play snare. I didn't go to band camp
They're
with
like,
them. So
they were all
yeah.
jocks.
It felt like it, yeah.
They were all jocks. Like
I was better than them, and they treated me like I was worse.
Yeah, that's exactly. And I had the same thing happen to me in choir in that school.
Yeah.
Where I was one of the best singers in that choir, and they treated me like I was not good, even though I was very good.
I was probably one of the best drummers at that school, and I quit because I just couldn't deal with the harassment and the mistreatment.
I wish I had been able to be in your band with you or something, but I didn't even want to play a flute instrument because I heard that band people were so mean.
Oh, they were mean. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. They lived up to every stereotype I ever saw in a high school, movie. They were terrible.
Our high school we went to, the kids at our high school were worse than a stereotype of a high school movie. I would say our high school is what the stereotype is based on.
Well, I mean, it was outside of Chicago. I mean, what do you expect?
They were mean. And it's weird, the kids from the rough neighborhood that you would expect to be mean, they were actually not that bad.
Yep.
The kids that were rich with their parents paying for everything, those were the meanest kids in the school.
Yep.
There was two sides to our school. Our neighborhood was split. Our town was split in half. So there was a very rough area of our town with extremely below the poverty level, like poor kids.
Yep. I was friends with a lot of them, actually.
And then there was extremely wealthy kids in which you would have to travel outside of town on these huge pieces of land that had these mansions. And this is where these kids would go. It was almost like Beverly Hills almost.
We called it the New District. So I had a lot of friends that were from the ghetto at that school.
Yeah, so did I. I
Both,
was from the ghetto.
Both white and Mexican and black kids. We all got along fine. The kids that came from the new area of town where they built all the new houses, they were super mean.
They were really mean, and they always got the everything. They would get into choir, orchestra, everything because their parents knew the director.
Well, it wasn't just that.
They didn't even need to be good at it.
They went to these fancy events or whatever where they competed. So of course they were gonna get into band and orchestra.
Oh, you mean they
and
went to special band camps during the summer?
I don't know if they were camps. They went to certain things where they actually one drummer guy said he had been at a lot of them knew each other from different events that they did and stuff like that. So
their parents basically drove them to fancy things where they would.
I never understood it because I came from the area of New York that I went to school with everybody that I grew up in. We lived in kind of a farm / a district where all these different people in that county went to school. So it was a farm thing, right out by the highway. It wasn't a city. It was right between Albany and Troy. And everybody there was we didn't know what people's dads or whatever did for a living because everybody dressed the same. Everybody had the same interests, the same TV shows. People were talking about Power Rangers, Batman the Animated Series, X-Men, talking about Super Nintendo, Sega Genesis, that kind of stuff. Our luxury items when we were kids was video game consoles. So that's you identified a rich kid in the 90s based on if he had a TurboGrafx 16 or a 3DO or a Jaguar or something like that, and most people would shun them because you knew that they weren't really a cool person. You would hang out with the person that had the Genesis, the Super Nintendo, because they were more relatable to you.
Right. Yeah, the impression I got from those really wealthy kids at our school was it was their school, we just went there. They felt they owned the school. and anyone else who attended was just basically worthless.
There was one chill kid that I didn't know he was wealthy growing up until I went to his house. Like, it was like 1994, 1995-ish. It was right around the time Donkey Kong Country came out, or the second Donkey Kong Country. And I rented the game from Blockbuster, and my parents dropped me off. And I kid you not, this guy's house was in the middle of nowhere in the forest, and it was made of glass.
Oh my gosh.
His father had like one of those like Magnum PI convertibles in his driveway.
Oh, it's kind of like the Ferris Bueller's Day Off, like that guy's parents' house.
Well, the father worked in New York City. So, like, he would actually, there was a train nearby that he would actually get on the train to go to work. So the father would leave every day at, like, 4 or 5 in the morning and get on the train. And the train would go all the way to New York City, which, by car, was a little bit further away. Although I always thought train is slower, but he'd get on the train, he'd commute all the way to New York City where his office was. But their house was made all of glass. It was in the middle of the forest. He had, like, the Magnum PI car out front because the father was a huge fan of Magnum PI. So he made sure he bought a replica car that looked just like it.
Yeah.
Inside their house, everything was immaculate. They had cutting-edge, appliances. And they acted like normal people. They never flexed.
Right.
They never the son never made me feel bad about not having as many video games as he did.
That's what you always told me about. There's rich people and then there's the super
Oh, they
rich.
were super rich, yeah.
So like sort of rich people sometimes are kind of mean.
Yep.
And then when you get to the super rich people, they're really chill and nice.
The super rich are very chill.
And I have to agree with that. It's like when you get to extremely wealthy people, many times they're really nice.
Yep.
And then it's the sort of rich people.
It's the people that are rich that they push people around. At least in my what I saw. But again, everybody in New York, like we all treated each other pretty much the same.
I mean, that's just like a generalization, but that's what we've seen. But it's like. But in reality, everyone makes their own decision how they're going to act. Like, like some people who are sort of rich are nice, kind.
Well, I also, like, in high school, I saw 2 different types of, like, black kids. Like, there was that one really wealthy black kid that was super mean, and then there was the ones that were, like, kind of my level of, like, my parents' poverty or whatever. We were all the same. We had different gaming interests, but we were all the same.
That was the impression I got from that school was people were not divided from race, people were divided from income level at that school.
Yeah.
It was a clear division of income level. Race wasn't a factor. It was the income level that was actually dividing people.
My dad's best friend in Peekskill, did not live up to the quote-unquote TV stereotype of what a black family was because he was a doctor. My dad was a minister. He was poor.
You were the poor kid.
I was the poor kid.
You were the poor white kid. He was the rich black kid.
My friend Christian, he had nicer clothes than me. His dad was a doctor in New York City.
But you guys were friends, though.
Oh yeah, we were best friends. We cried when we found out my dad, me and Christian, when we found out my dad was getting a job in Michigan, in Detroit. I was heartbroken because I was going to lose my best friend. I tried to convince my grandparents to let me stay. Like, I was like 5 or 6 years old. I was begging my grandparents to adopt me so I could go to school with my best friend. And I'm serious. I was torn away from my friends.
I'm sorry.
I hated my parents because it was so hard for me because all these kids grew up with me. They didn't know I had ADD.
Basically, yeah.
When I was ripped away from my life in New York, my school life became hell because no one grew up with me, so they didn't understand my disabilities. I was always in trouble.
It was a living nightmare there for me, too. Yeah. I didn't like it either.
Chicago was the worst thing, besides marrying you, was the worst thing that ever happened to me because I was treated differently than I was in New York.
Basically, like, to explain for people who don't understand, like, what Luke and I went through, like, there are people that are just sort of making it pretty good in life. Like, maybe they're in the East Coast and they're doing all right.
Well, they work a lot.
And then what they do is they move. I'm talking about people that are in Illinois. They move to the Midwest, and then they can flex it in front of everyone there, because the standard of living in the East Coast compared to the Midwest is really different. Like,
Yeah.
if you're making a decent living in the East Coast, you will appear rich in the Midwest. So that's the kind of people that were kind of in the Midwest. Like, they had really almost mansions in the Midwest. But in reality, if they would go to the East Coast, they'd probably just be normal people.
Yeah.
But they didn't want to be like that. They wanted to lord it over everyone.
There was definitely, the rich kids were the ones that were all mean. And it didn't matter their skin color. They all came from the same group. Their parents all went to the same golf course and whatever.
That was hard for me because my grandfather and my family grew up in that town.
Yep.
And my parents were extremely poor. You know, my grandfather was a doctor, and my dad was a minister for a while, and then he was a maintenance worker, and my family didn't have any money. So, you know, like, it was very hard for me because, you know, my parents, especially my mom, was always asking me, like, oh, I know so-and-so's father, like, you should make friends with them. And they were the meanest person in school.
Ooh, yeah.
And I would try to make friends with them, and they would just turn their back to me and ignore me and treat me like garbage. And then I would tell my mom, like, I don't think I want to be friends with her. She's really mean. And my mom's like, I'm sure she's nice. I know her family. Like, I'm sure she's wonderful.
I went to school with this person.
Right, I went to school with her dad. I'm sure she's wonderful. And my family did not understand, like, that these kids were narcissistic, like, complete jerks.
Yeah,
like,
they weren't like their parents at all.
They were
But also
horrible.
that was a lot of
horrible.
those kids too was from the 90s version of parenting where, like, you know, the parents weren't really around to raise a lot of them, so a lot of them were jerks because they were lonely.
They were horrible.
Yeah.
They were the meanest people ever.
Like, I psychoanalyzed one bully. I said, hey, part of the reason you're such a jerk is because your parents won't even give you the time of day, whereas my parents, I see them every day. I have dinner with them. You know, my parents are actually invested in my life. Your dad, like, abandoned you years ago. Your mom's been divorced so many times. You know, I really got into it. I'm not going to say it, but I was tired of the kid picking on me. I laid into him real hard. I basically called his mom the town bicycle. Like, I really went after him. Because it was true, but, you know, I shouldn't have, because that's how the fight happened, is he was picking on me so much, and I went below the belt with some of my remarks, and that's how we got into the fight.
Yeah, and that's the mentality that I
But
noticed.
in my defense, he kept pushing me for months.
Yeah. The thing I really liked about going to the East Coast was, like what you said, where everybody was the same and everyone was treated the same. Like, if you were in an East Coast school, who got into band and who was treated well would be based on your talent and your hard work.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas in the Midwest, it's like whose father knew whose father. That was even when I was younger, like, and I would tell that's why I hardly ever talk to my mom anymore about school, was she would say, are you having trouble getting into this club? And I would say, yeah, they told me I didn't get in. And my mom would be like, oh, that's okay, I'll give their father a call. And it's like, I didn't want to do that. I wanted to get in based on my merit, you know?
Yeah, that's it.
And it's like, that was really stressful for me because it was like, I didn't like that. I don't like that. Like, you get into, you know, you're in the top of the band because your father knows the father of the school, like, of the director. Like, that's weird. Like, why is that the way you get into the elite band squad? That doesn't make any sense. That's dumb.
You gotta go. I gotta salvage the hour. All right, guys. So Xenoblade is gonna start next. Thank you guys so much for watching. I didn't do very well in Mirror. I only got 2 trophies out of the entire time of the stream. 150 CCs. Mirror Cup is no joke. So tomorrow we're gonna try again and see if we can tackle Mirror. And I might not be able to do all of Mirror, to be honest. So Amber and I might migrate to doing, like, 2-player stuff. Because I don't think I'm gonna do very well at Mirror Cup. Mirror Cup is insane. It's like 150 plus or whatever. But next up is Xenoblade. So Xenoblade is gonna start up immediately. So head over there, guys. Thank you for the super chats. Thanks for hanging out. Hope you guys had fun. This stream got 1,000 views, so Mario Kart will resume tomorrow. And tonight is going to be Xenoblade and that fighting game, Fatal Fury. So it's a pretty stacked night. So I'm going to try to get through as much of Xenoblade tonight as possible so we can get to the end of the game. That way we can focus on... There's a new game coming out next week that I want to showcase on the channel. So I need to get Xenoblade done this weekend. So... Thanks for watching, everybody, and see you on, not Fatal Fury, but Xenoblade is next. God bless, happy gaming.